Okay, is everyone here? You know what? I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm gonna wear a jacket on top of this. Okay, 2 long sleeves. 2 layers of long sleeves in Singapore weather. It's insane. Right, let's take a look. Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to the live, right? Imagine wearing a sweater in Singapore weather. Hi Rachel. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Okay, welcome Bendori. Alright, so we are now going through, okay, this where it's called an experience where honesty was challenging but important. Alright. Okay, does anyone have any answers of their own? Okay, before I'll give you guys some time to give me some answers before I go through. Alright. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, describe an experience where honesty was challenging but important. Okay, so what we can do over here, okay, we are talking about where honesty was challenging, so it has to be something that encourages you to lie. Okay, so what we're gonna do is that we can say that, hey, what situation would you have to lie in? Okay, so you can say where you did something wrong. My sleeve is so chunky now, and it's like, how do I write with this? Oh, okay. Did something wrong, okay? Did something wrong, okay? So it could be like, breaking class projector. Okay, that's a big thing. Class projector, okay? And then maybe you felt nervous to tell a teacher, okay? And then, but you decided to tell teacher, okay? and then you were fined but avoided guilt. Okay. Okay, and this also helps you to build stronger trust with teachers. Hi, thank you so much for sharing the live. Thank you. Teachers and classmates. All right, so these are all things that you can link to. All right, and you can also link to the fact that this reflects Singapore's CCE curriculum, okay, and that it emphasizes integrity. All right, so these are all things that you can add, okay, to really beef up your answers. All right, these are all things that you can add. Okay, does anyone else have any answers? Okay, I'll wait for a while because I do want to hear some answers that students have that maybe we can go through together. Okay, because this kind of one of the best ways for you to really practice and make sure that the answers you're giving are correct is when you are actually sharing your answers with someone and getting a chance for them to be revealed. Okay, so yeah, I do want to encourage students to try to give me some answers now. All right. Okay, does anyone have any answers? Okay, okay, no answers. Okay, let's move on. Okay, everyone's feeling kind of quiet today. Feel like there are not a lot of people online today. That's okay. Okay, everyone has their busy moments, all right? Okay, but like I said, it is important to be sharing your answers, okay? Just so that you can really get that chance to get your answers checked, right? So it is a great idea. All right, so let's go through this again. Okay, let's go through this section. How do you handle peer pressure? All right, how do you handle peer pressure regarding moral dilemmas? All right, this is a very important question, okay? Because there have been so many cases in Singapore where students, something wrong was done because they, listened to their friends because they said, my friend said that I should do this, my friend said I should do that, and because they actually did it, they got in trouble, right? So it is possible for you to bring up such instances to back up your answers onto why it is important to handle peer pressure properly, right? So backing up your answers with content from the news can be very helpful as well, right? So this is up to you. Okay, so how do you handle peer pressure regarding moral dilemmas? All right, so what you can do, okay, is recognize the pressure first to stop and think, okay, and you can say you will remind yourself of personal values. Okay, so you can be very specific in this case. What personal values does this remind you of? Okay, maybe this is the case where honesty really comes into play. Okay, you feel like your friends are telling you to not be honest. Okay, they want you to maybe be the scapegoat. They don't want the responsibility, but you feel like it's not right. Okay, so what are your personal values in this case? All right, so you can also talk about using polite refusal techniques. Okay, so maybe you can say, let's do it another way. Okay. Hi, Referts. Unfortunately, we won't be doing paper two today because I was just talking to the others, and we do want to make sure that we are focusing on oral as well, because actually we have actually for all as live streamers, we have been focusing on paper two a lot. Okay. And as well as the composition, but we have not done much content on the oral. Okay. So we do want to make sure that students are well prepared enough, okay, before the exam. Okay. But look, definitely, if you have any specific questions in paper two, or let's say you have any comments that you have been getting from your teachers that you find problematic, you don't know how to deal with it, okay, you could let me know, and then we could work it out together. All right. So definitely, we will be focusing more on the oral side. But if you need help in composition or anything, just let us know. Let us know. We will try to explain it to the best of our abilities. All right. Yeah, definitely. We are here to support all of you guys. Okay, especially since we are very, very close. Okay, it is not. Let me just check my phone. It is not June anymore. We are out of June. We are out of June. We are officially out of June. Okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, we are out of June. You guys are in your second term, okay? So how do you feel? Rifferts, how do you feel that you're in your second term? Your second term, right? Sad. I think most people feel sad as well. Okay. For me, sadness is always interlaced with, a bit of happiness, a bit of, yeah, because I remember I remember that when I was in my last semester of PSLE, especially after the exam was over, when I would walk down the stairs, when I would walk down the corridors, I would think to myself, this is the last few weeks I'm going to be in school, in this school, and then my life is going to change. And it made me so sad for some reason that I wasn't going to be studying with the same friends anymore. So I think much more than the fact that I was going for a life changing exam, I was really, really upset by the fact that I was going to go to a whole different school and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I think I had my priorities misplaced growing up. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys feel that? Because I know for a lot of people, and this is something that happened even when we were in JC. Okay, so when we graduated, for me, I was just saying, oh no, I can't imagine, not being in school anymore. I can't imagine not being in school daily anymore. And I was just so sad about that. Whereas my friends, I remember they said, thank God we are out of school. Thank God we are out of school. I never want to see school again. And it was just so different, it was just so different. But yeah. So definitely, it depends what kind of person you are. If you're someone like me and you are just very, very, very focused on your emotions, very, very focused on the fact that, oh my God, I'm not gonna be in the same school anymore. I gotta have to fend for myself in a new school, then that's a different situation. What kind of person are you, Referts? Are you someone like me, or are you like everyone else? I can't wait to get out of school. I can't wait. I just want to leave school. Never want to see this school again. Terrible memories. Okay. Okay, let's go on. Okay. So over here again, you can also, I'm like you, but I miss my chair. Ooh, didn't really get along with many teachers. My favorite teacher was my teacher in primary one, and my Chinese teacher, and my Chinese teacher from primary one as well. And other than that, all the teachers were super mean to me. They were really, really mean to me. I remember that there was one teacher who kept on telling me for some reason to behave more like a girl, that uh, I shouldn't be spending so much time playing basketball. And I was very, very surprised. I back then I didn't think much of it. I was just saying she's so mean. I just want to play basketball. But then now that I think about it, that was a very, very mean thing to say to a child. Mind you, I was like 12 at that time, so that was yeah, that was insane. All right, okay, but yes, all right. Also, you can add that you seek support. You get along with all your teachers. That's great. I'm unfortunately there are always a few mean teachers. Okay, some teachers you get along with, some don't. But for our batch, a lot of students didn't get along with the teachers. I don't know. In our batch especially. Seek support from trusted friend or adult. All right, and okay, so okay, you can also say that you can bring up stats only if you know them, of course. Okay, so in this case, you can say that 42%, okay, may compromise integrity under pressure. All right, so these are all things that can really show that you know what you're saying, okay? And then you can say that you also want to learn from Singapore youth leaders, okay? Or and that you can reflect more to more afterwards, okay? To practice, okay? So these are all things that are really really important. All right, so that is one thing that you can do. Okay, what role does integrity play in academic settings? Oh, this is a very very important question. All right, you does anyone have any answers for this one? What role does integrity play in academic settings? All right, there is a very clear answer. All right, there's a lot of different directions that you can go, okay, in this. All right, important that you are also choosing the right answers. All right, okay, does anyone have any answers? Feel free to share your answers so that we can all mark it together. All right, okay, now let's go through. Okay, what role does integrity play in academic settings? Okay, now in this situation, okay, we are talking about integrity. So how honest are you? Okay, so now integrity in academic settings means that, you know, it is something that ensures fairness. 8 out of 10 honest. Really? Okay, so everyone is graded fairly, right? So everyone's graded in an equal way. Everyone is there's no one that has more leverage than another person, right? So it is also something that encourages trust. Okay, encourages trust between students and teachers. Okay, this one's super important, all right? And it can also build, okay, this is generally, it might be not just in school, it might be out of school in general, okay? Build it, not build it, build, okay? Okay, so it builds an honest academic environment, okay? So in this case, okay, you can say that, you know, students feel they feel it's more clear to them that in order to do well, only hard work, only intelligence, only you know, street smart can bring you there instead of cheating, instead of lying. All right, so it also fosters different learning. Okay, that's a better way to put it. Okay, fosters deeper learning. Okay, so deeper learning, not shortcuts, right? Okay. Okay, so it also, okay, okay, so what can be done? You can also say that this reflects core values emphasized by MOE's CCE framework, right? You can also say this, okay? And it also prepares students. Thank you so much, Referts, for the likes. Thank you so much for future. Oh my God, my handwriting. If anyone has any, like, you know, ideas about how to improve your handwriting, it's, you know what, even at this age, I'm willing to do Stella Handbook. Okay, you know the Stella Handbook that, I don't know if you guys did that in primary one. We did that in primary school. I'm willing to do that again, just so that my handwriting looks better, because oh my God, it is getting worse and worse. Okay, workplaces needing behavior. You can also talk about the fact that repercussions of lying. I'm also trying to improve my handwriting. Same. Okay, you can also talk about how the repercussions of lying in a workplace scenario is also a lot more detrimental to someone's career and life as compared to, you know, being caught lying in school. So it is very important for students to learn, okay, to be honest in their work. Okay, so it should start from academic setting, okay, so that they do not end up with a habit of lying or cheating in work. All right, so it is something that, this is something that you can highlight. This is definitely something you can highlight. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Referred, how are you in trying to improve your handwriting? Do you give me some inspirations, you know, some ideas? I need to buy really hard candy because this one I keep ending up chewing it and I eat too much. I asked my classmate, her handwriting is so good. Okay. Here is the funny thing. Some girls, you would think that all girls would have good handwriting. I'm the first case that that's not true. Some boys have really, really good handwriting. Honestly, I think it's a personality thing. Okay. My brother and I, we did the same practices growing up. He has amazing handwriting, by the way. Okay. His handwriting is um very, it's very neat. It is also very clear, and it looks like it's being printed out. It's all very standardized in terms of size, in terms of, you know, spacing. Whereas mine, I think this is and this is one of the better ones, right? The one that you see here, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. See, it's just, there are good times, there are bad times. Like, look at this. But as long as you guys understand what I'm saying, that's good enough. Right? So I think it is really personality, unfortunately. Okay, because I remember growing up that my teachers were so, in primary five, where everyone switched to pens to how do you call that, for their papers. I was asked to stick with pencil purely because of how terrible my handwriting was, that teachers were so sure they won't be able to read what I'm writing if I wrote it in pen. So what happened was that they were like, okay, since everyone is changing the pen, we're gonna give you a Stellar Handbook to make sure that you are keeping up pace with everyone. Okay, so you can do the Stellar Handbook in pen. Okay, and you also improve your handwriting. Okay, did not do that. Teacher gave up. Went into PSLE with poor handwriting using a pen. Turned out fine, but now I'm suffering the repercussions from, you know, not really repercussions. I just dislike the fact that I have poor handwriting. So that is interesting, all right? So it shows you guys, please improve your handwriting when you guys are in school. Please improve your handwriting, all right? Okay. Okay, now let's look at this one, all right? Describe a person who exemplifies good character to you. All right. So who might that be? So we're talking about a role model. Okay. So there are two things to focus on here. Number one, who is this person? And number two, what is good character? All right. Okay, so in the oral exam, it is so important that students are able to not only, you're not only able to answer your questions well, okay, you are also able to break your questions down well, okay. So that is one of the key ways that you're able to really hit the nail on the head and get the result that you need. That way is to, be able to identify what the question wants of you, okay. That is the best way to do that. All right, so that is super important. All right, so does anyone have any suggestions for this question? Any possible answers? Please let me know. Okay, we can go through it together. Okay. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. Does anyone have any questions or any answers? Okay, please let me know and then we can go through them together. Okay. Okay, teachers, okay, so we can say it's a teacher. All right, you can say that a teacher. Okay, a teacher, what kind of teacher is she, what does she teach, okay, and why she exemplifies this kind of good character to you. Okay, so in this case we can say that the form teacher, okay, teacher is always punctual, okay, punctual and caring, okay, greet students by name. Okay, so you can say very respectful. And then you can say that encourages honesty. Even when students make mistakes. Okay, and helps struggling students after class voluntarily. Okay, so these are all things, okay, all things that you can write. Okay, you can say that the teacher also remains fair. Okay, so no favoritism. Okay, some teachers do that. Okay, some teachers do that, favoritism. Okay, leads by example. Okay, leads by example. Okay, and she also, you can say that she supports, okay, maybe it's not say all of this. Okay, you can just pick up a few. Supports environmental causes. And she inspires students that way. Okay, and then you can say that she always listens without interrupting. Okay, so these are all great options that you can use. All right, and then we can also have this: how can young people develop stronger ethical frameworks? All right, how can young people develop stronger ethical frameworks? Okay, so this is another question. Okay, Mariah is here. I saw Mariah. I saw Mariah. She just waltzed past. I am heartbroken. I'm at tuition. Mariah Carey. Which tuition are you at? Which subject? Oh, I've been having the driest eyes lately, guys. It is getting so bad. And my eyes, they are overcompensating the dryness, and they are always feeling so swollen. If you guys have any home remedies, please share. English, you're in English tuition right now because you're in my live stream. Okay. All right. Okay, we are doing the O level oral discussion for those who I've been feeling very tired. I think especially for those PSLE students, all right, it is very common. Okay, please be careful not to burn yourself out. Okay, you have to be careful to number one, get enough rest, and also you have to keep working on things that you like. Okay, now the effects of being burnt out is not short term, okay, because when you are burnt out, when you start getting burnt out, it is possible for this thing to keep on repeating itself. All right, for me, definitely a bit of personal experience. I got very burnt out. I didn't get burnt out when I was doing PSLE. Immediately after, I crashed out, and it was a crash out that lasted me um to secondary school. And because of how it affected me when I began secondary school, it ended up having long-term effects on me. Okay, all the way, yeah, for quite some time. Okay, so it is very important for students. Okay, don't always always be very careful of how much stress, how much worry you're putting on yourself. Okay, you guys are so young, you guys have a lot of time to push for it, especially if you guys are only 12 right now. You guys have so much time to, really put in that effort. All right, so definitely be nice to yourself as well. Okay, definitely be nice to yourself as well. Okay, how can young people develop stronger ethical frameworks? All right, now, what is an ethical framework? Okay, an ethical framework is essentially, maybe you can say that it's a mental framework that you have in mind. Okay, so it can be certain like values that you have, certain values that you have that you just feel like, this thing isn't right, that thing is probably correct, you know what, I'm not going to listen to others. Okay, so when you're saying stronger ethical frameworks, okay, so there are people who are, maybe you can say, call them people pleasers, or you can say people who are just simply more easy to be convinced. All right, these people, you can describe them that maybe as people, they have their own values, but they are also more easily persuaded by other people. Okay, so it is important for younger people to be able to develop stronger ethical frameworks. All right, so what you can do, okay, so how can young people develop these things? Okay, I'm gonna start giving you guys answers, but if you guys have any answers of your own, feel free to just type them in the chat and we will look at them together. All right, so the first one is learn core values through CCE lessons. I haven't done CCE in years, but yeah. Okay, CCE lessons. Okay, discuss dilemmas at home and school. Okay, so you are always getting the feedback of others. You're making sure that you are in a good place. Okay, reflect on actions. Reflect on actions. So it could be using a journal or group discussions. All right. Okay, so what else you can do is to seek role models. Very strong characters. Okay, and yeah, these are all okay. You can also apply values in small daily choices. Okay, practice builds habits. All right, these are all very important. All right, these are all super important. Okay, okay. Sure, I go now. I'm going to cycle. All right. Okay, have fun. All right, have fun. I will see you next time. Okay, I'll see you next time. Okay, okay. Come on, let's move on. Come on, let's move on. Okay, what moral lessons have you learned from family traditions? Are you live tomorrow? Tomorrow is a what day? Let me see. Yes, I will be live tomorrow. I will be live. I will be live tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow then, Riffords. Alright? Yes! I'm so glad that you are so excited. Alright? Have fun. Alright, have fun. Bye! Okay? What moral lessons have you learned from family traditions? Alright, so first things first, okay, we're talking about what moral lessons, and we also want to define what traditions. All right, so of course, different countries, you got we all have the different traditions, okay, and each of them there is a different quality, there's a different idea behind of it, and it is important that we can talk about how these things have helped us to grow as people, okay. So these are all things that can truly impact our lives, and it is good to bring them up. All right, so okay, let me just. Okay, so what we can say, okay, so now we have respect elders, that is a family tradition. Respect elders, okay, and what you learn from that, okay, 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 to greet grandparents daily, you learn, okay, and then what else, okay, you also learn honesty from family traditions to speak say the truth at home. Okay, you also learn sharing, offering food at gatherings, gratitude, express thanks after meals. Okay, does anyone have any ideas? Okay, so now what we're gonna say next, okay, gratitude, we also have okay, hard work, help mom fold laundry during weekends. Okay, so these are all considered family traditions that have taught us something. Okay, so these are all things that you guys can use during your composition, not composition, your O level oral. Okay, so in case they ask you any of these questions, you have a little bank of ideas to use. All right, so these are teacher just suggestions. All right. how do you balance personal desires with ethical responsibilities? Oh, that's a very good question. All right. So now you can talk about, you can also give an example, right? You can give an example, okay? So you can use this example to explain. All right, you can say maybe that I'm going to school right now. I forgot to bring any lunch money, and I really want to buy that bowl of duck noodles. Okay, but at the same time, I don't have any money. Okay, and I walk past the canteen and I see a wall on the floor with $5 inside. Okay, do I take it and satisfy my personal desires for food, or do I, ask do I give it to a teacher? All right, do I give it to a teacher? Okay, so these are all examples that you guys can use. All right, so first things first. Okay, so how do you? Okay, now it's a how question. Okay, it is not a explain, give an example question. You can give an example as a supporting part, but it should not be your full answer. All right, so you can say set aside, okay, no, wait, sorry, decide daily, decide, is this desire harming someone else? Okay, you can also say the idea of sacrificing small ones to uphold bigger values. Okay, and you can also say that you also want to reward yourself after meeting responsibilities. Okay, think ahead. Will I regret this choice? Okay, so these are all things that you can bring up. Okay, and then you can also talk about discuss with parents or teachers for clarity. All right, so these are all important ways that students can use to balance personal desires with ethical responsibilities. Okay, if you do want to give an example, you have to talk about what this is. Okay, and you will also have to talk about what ethical responsibilities you have. Okay. Okay, so we have currently finished this O-level oral discussion. Okay, so we'll be moving back to the PSLE one. Okay. Oh, okay, let me just. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, now this is the paper that we're not the paper, the questions that we're going through for the O level one. Okay, they will be under the time management. Okay, the time management and let me see, time management and daily routine section. All right, so what we're gonna do, okay, we are going to go through question 8. We went through all the way to question, I think 7. Yes, I was right just now. Okay, so we will now be going through question 8. Hey, if you guys have any questions or any ideas, you guys can always let me know. Right? Okay, does anyone have any questions? I'll give everyone a bit of some time to ask questions. Okay, because I realize I'm always talking here. All right, does anyone have any questions? Please let me know. Okay, I'll be happy to go through with you guys. Okay, does anyone have any questions or answers? Please let me know. All right. Okay, now let's go through this one. Okay, let's go through. Okay, so now what we want is, this is the question, how do you avoid distractions during study time? And I trust that this is a very big question among students, right? So I do want to give you guys some time to answer this question, because during the exam I'm not going to be there to help you guys. Okay, so do want to make sure that you guys are all able to answer these kind of questions, right? Okay, I'll give you guys 5 seconds, 10 seconds. All right. Okay, so let's go through. Okay, so now first things first. Okay, how do you avoid distractions? Okay, so one very good way, and a hint that I'm gonna give you guys that you guys can use to, really think about more ideas to be inspired, is you can think about what distractions you usually have, right? And okay, and what kind of problems that you usually have during study time. Okay, so now one of the best ways that you can I wouldn't say deal with this, I would say do this, is that, okay, you can say that, okay, turn off phone, or you can say that you are going to download screen lock app, okay, or use focus tasks. Okay, focus task apps. Okay, so you can explain a bit focus task apps. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you guys in case you guys have not heard of it. Focus task apps, they are essentially apps that you can use to do something with your phone at the site, so that you won't be able to use your phone to swipe or do social media. Okay, so maybe for me, I used the app where I could grow a plant at the site while I was doing work, and I would you go through little goals, you have little you would be given like little tasks to fulfill, right? And these tasks you are supposed to study for different amounts of time. Okay, so it is a great way for students to really yeah, it's great for students to study. Okay, okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, so how do you avoid distractions during study time? Okay, does anyone have any answers? I'm already giving you guys one answer. Okay, any other answers? Okay, any other answers? Any other answers? Let's take a look. Okay, so you can also look to study. My handwriting, oh my goodness. Study in quiet places. Okay, study in quiet places. Okay, and what else can you do? You can also write to-do lists. Okay, you can also do to-do lists. Okay, you can also posting putting up a family. Do not disturb sign outside your room when studying. Okay, you can also study in the morning. Okay, that is something that actually helped me only for a while though. Okay, I'm someone who studies better at night for some reason. Study in the morning for a fresher mind and less noise. Okay, and you can also choose to take water, stretch. Okay, to prevent fatigue and boredom. All right, so always to keep yourself well rested, to keep yourself well hydrated. All right. Okay, so these are my answers. All right, if anyone has any questions or you guys maybe disagree about something, feel free to let me know. All right. Hello. Hi, welcome to the live. How are you today? Welcome. Okay, while we're waiting for him to respond, okay, let's talk more about question 9. What household chores do you